was really cool.
Dash, I wanna dash, I wanna run it, dash, I wanna dash, I wanna run it, dash, I wanna dash, I wanna run it, dash, I wanna run it, dash, I wanna dash, I wanna run it, dash. Ooh, speed up to the max.
Hi everybody, my name is Jessica Holyfield and I'm a professional dance choreographer and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States, and we're going to be taking a look at NMIXX's Dash. This is one of the 5 most requested contents in celebration of my 5,000 subscribers. Really happy to be able to look at this. I don't think I've really seen any NMIXX anything at all, not a full track, not a full dance or anything, maybe an excerpt or two just from the algorithm, but I don't know what to expect with this and I'm really excited about it. So let's go ahead and get started. I like this choice. Nice. Nice. Ooh, I like her tone. Nice. Zero to 100. Ooh. Nice. Cute. Okay, I wonder how that looks in the performance version, because it didn't look like she did a lift or what was intended there. That was really cool. Speed change lyrically, that was nice. Normally you see it in choreo, but it was cool to see it reflected in the track. Nice. This here, that was cool. Nice! That was clean. Little heels, little tic-tac-toe on that. Oh, love that. Yo, that was cool. That was like really cool. Okay, we're gonna go look at the performance version now. We're here, let's go. Dash, I wanna dash, I wanna run it, dash, I wanna dash, I wanna run it, dash, I wanna dash, I wanna run it, dash, you can't live that way. Zigzag. Woo! Yeah, that was a good angle. Very catchy. And I feel like this location has been shot for a couple different groups. It reminds me of something from AT's Youth. It also reminds me of something from a Very Trigger. It's a dope like abandoned looking parking garage for sure. So they have more speed changes cinematically. Okay, okay. So that's what she was intending for with that. Beautiful. It's cool. Oh, I love that camera shot. That was cool. Yeah. Yummy. Change up. Cool. I wonder if there's fingerprints of their other tracks in this. Do you know what I mean? Because like some of these choices they're making, I feel like it would make sense in some of their wordplay, but I could be wrong. So I'm noticing this is an even number. It does feel that with some of our choices, we weren't factoring in the fact it was an even number. It was a lot of the formations are catered to an odd numbered group, and there's like gaps that are happening in some of the choices, and I am intrigued on getting into that, but I digress. I was curious, was this a group that had 7 and now we're at 6, or I'm not quite sure any of that, or this out of the other, but I'm curious about the music video, so let's watch that. Oh, this is new. Like, this year, okay. Nice. Love. It does have like a subtle, what's it called? Sucker Punch vibe. Fun. That was a cool cut. That was fun. They did change it up, that's for sure. Dope. Whoa! Oh, that was good. Oh, that's funny. Okay. White Park, Asian Soul, Squad Direction, Young, Project Manager in Music, Music Admin, Production, Visual Design, Management, Marketing, Video Content, Story Content, Admin, Recording. Oh, I love that it's all getting mumble jumbled in the back. Soljun, Choreographer, that's who I was wanting. Leah Kim, Hwan, Nine, Taewong, and Soljun. So I guess it's 1 mil presence on that one. I love that it's all getting completely just kerfumbled in the top. That's so fun. Probably one of my favorite credits I think I've seen. That's so cool. That was really cool. Wow, that's, I mean, I feel like they said their piece. We're still here. Oh my God, I love it. Yes. So good. Okay, so we're gonna go from the top of the actual choreo. I don't know, well now let me look just out of curiosity. Okay, I looked, they were a 7-member group and then one of the members left. I literally just looked at it. Looks like that member left the same year they debuted. I don't quite know any of that like details. I am curious. Y'all let me know anything I need to know about that. But in this case, they've been a 6-member group for quite some time now. So it's not like it doesn't give the appearance, well, it gives the appearance that going from 7 to 6 happened recently, but I don't think that's the case. But the reason why I feel that way is because the formations are structured like an odd number group. And I think that's my in general note about the formations. I don't mind them really that much, and I really like their flow, and I like how they're hitting it with the track. It's very nice and very well done for the most part. It's really cool. I like that. Dash, I want it, so I like the choice where they have this little flip-flop happening with the twist of the wrist. That's really nice, but they have a very clear direction going on with the hand. Looks great. Dash, I want a dash, and they have a little like bite me. Yeah, love it. Come on. They'll run it, boom. Love that too, with the presentation and uses of the chest to really make that full. Want a dash, I want it. So very clear on what's going on with those hands. But here's what I'm talking about. Yes, you have a 1-point feature here, but notice that somebody, yes, you want them to be seen. When you deal with an even number group, a lot of times you have levels represented so nobody gets covered up. But the moment you start having somebody that's normally right behind somebody else when they're a 1-point feature in an even numbered group, you're gonna be slightly off in balance and symmetry. So that's just an in general thing I noticed a lot in this one that I naturally pick up on it whenever the formations showcase that, but it's not nearly even an issue. So I'm not even claiming it to be an issue at all. It's something it's just an observation is really all my notes. I like that boom dash, really cool. A little run it, and I like how she takes her fingers, makes a little 7 out of it, really cute. And then I like her dig in this. So notice she's letting her body, they really allow their upper body to infiltrate and actually be influenced by what's going on in the movement. It doesn't feel really stiff. And I'm happy for that, unless the movement calls for that degree of stiffness. And in this case, it's not. And I really like it. It's super fun. Da-da-na-na. And then also look here, I mean, you have one of your members right there in the back corner. I noticed this with, there's 2 Gen 5 groups that are a group of 6, and I noticed it with both of them. There's little formation choices like that end up happening. That's just, once again, observation. So if there was an area where I feel like would be really cool to see what we could workshop or play around with this group, and I may need to watch more of NMIXX, and hopefully I'll have the privilege of looking at more in the future. I just think that would be one of those things, is how can we play around with the different level representation, not covering people up as much, and making creative choices with the numbers that you have. It's just a little general note. I like the zigzag. I like that choice because notice it's a diagonal of how they're approaching it. So a zigzag is this bad boy right there, that kind of texture. So it's really cool to see that represented in the movement. Presenting it out, and I like this movement. I love that with a lot of them, they're allowing there to be a subtle body roll happening in the transition. I'm definitely a fan of that. Looks great. Branching it around, nice little head to cause the transition or cause their bodies to rotate to a different part or different direction. Love that. Then you have a little dig, a pony with texture. I like it. And then we have some accents happening with the wrist on the bottom portion of that move. The drag through is nice. They pick it up, ding ding, nice little shoulder accent there. I like the switch on that. They take it, a little pas de bourrée to transition out. I like that, boom, doom, doom. This is another instance where it feels like a check mark. And so whenever you do see this case, as long as for me, it'd be nice to see a group of 3 here with our feature and then a group of 2. So it feels more balanced throughout the entirety of the routine and not just a go-to formation choice. So I think we see this again. I don't know if they reverse it, but we'll see. When we get there, I like that part. Nice little body roll. They come up. I like the accent that they do with the hand. Boom, boom. Great head intention there. Super fun. I like the trace happening. Here, instead of tracing down, they flip it and they trace it up. So it feels more open, even though it's more closed off with the first hand position. That's really fun. I like, once again, they bring it around, nice subtlety. And then it gives petty. But like in a, we know what we're doing, back off. And I felt that even before I saw I'm still here. That whole little mess right there, that was awesome. I love it. The little choice of the head ISO was really nice. No one was over tinkering and it was very clear what kind of ISO they were going for. Love that. I really like her tone. It's probably my favorite part of the vocal side, is I really like how she sounds in this particular part. I don't know who she is, but she did great. I think all of them were really cool. And when you say dash, I want to dash, that kind of section can sound really annoying. This doesn't sound annoying at all, which means that they really did a good job of varying up how it's presented in the word dash. I want to dash. Like they really focused on tone and projection and varying it, and I appreciate that. And the choreography also replicates it in that way, which makes it very fun to watch. I like that choice. And then we go a little cross and then uncross, dropping it down, and then we have a fun little transition. She comes up, very clear to see who my feature is. I love it. She expands it out. This was super nice, and I think the camera really shot it well in the choreo version, so they have a nice isolation in the hip, and I like the teetering over of the head. I appreciate it when everybody has a very clear direction on what's going on with their head. It just helps me appreciate where they need me to look, which is the focal point of the hip, with a nice little posture presence of the upper body. I said da-da-da, and she went lower with her voice, so it's nice for her to downcast a little bit more, so we feel a little bit lower in movement. Cool. Picking it up. This part right here kind of feels like we're doing a little jack with some heel toes. Or no, not really, just kidding. It's more just like a little pony transition, but we're adding a little body roll to help make that a little bit more full. Pulling it through, it could be very cute, but it's not. It's more like a vroom vroom, but like a chill bicycle, a water bicycle of some kind. I like this tap right here. This one's really cute. I like where they're bending a little bit more in that whenever they cross it over, and then they switch up the upper body and they switch it. Nice ISO. It does remind me of I'm currently in the process of learning Chung Ha's Dream of You, because I marathoned her recently, and that was a selected poll choice to learn. And so there's a lot of this type of isolation in that choreo. So I like seeing it here, but notice it's a little bit more, there's more rigidness behind it, but it's still clean, and it just gives a different vibe. And so I like seeing sequences that are kind of infiltrated or influenced throughout a multitude of different genres, because you're able to see how the importance of texture matters in whether or not a movement matches the aesthetic of a track or not. And in this case, it does. It looks great. And I like that part where they have it nice and planted, and then they drop it a little bit lower, so it looks subtly different, but they don't have to change the isolated chest pattern, which I like. It's cool. I like this part where they take the hip. It's, once again, a lot of isolation in some of these choices, but I like the fact they are keeping that torso nice and loose as they're doing a lot of these little, oh my gosh, what is this called? It's when they just not peel out, they just expand that hand out. It's like a swoosh. It's not a wave. It's like you have a little pocket, and they're just placing their energy through that little pocket of energy. I don't know why I can't think of what that's called, but I like that part. I really like that. Nice. And then it goes 1, 2, 3, nice and clean. 1, 2, 3. And so that was a very fun way to get everybody on the same page. Notice it was 2 on one side and 3 on the other. 200. Now right here, once again, it doesn't feel quite balanced, and that's not their fault or anything. That's just the movement direction of this, which is, it is what it is. That's fine. I want to run it. I like that. I want to run it. For me, I'd make that filthy AF, but I also know for this, having some sense of like structure behind how they're hitting it, you can tell that these types of things were communicated on how their torso is going to be infiltrating on that leg, and they bring it up. So I like that choice, bringing it up. Very full. Da-da, want to dash, boom, 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 and they accent it with the head. I like that choice where they go and turn it into more of a blade. Really nice. Bring it in, and then they bleed it up. Yes, ladies. And then a nice petty moment. Yes, let's go. Dash, I want to dash. And they push it through. So dash maybe like fast vehicle, or dash like the superhero. And I like this little jump rope action there to transition it. Honestly, too, it looks like they're all wearing Tims. Tims are heavy because they are a work boot. And so they're just going to have a natural heaviness to them. So it can help you look more grounded because your feet can't be picked up that much as if you're wearing like an Air Force One. So shout out to the ladies for not making it feel labored at all, wearing these types of shoes. And I like that everyone has a different type of hat. That's fun. And it does showcase a certain degree of individuality, even though everyone's got more of a crop fit on. I like it. And a lot of them have short sleeves or more form-fitting tops. These types of movements are hard to look powerful without using the back. And I can see that we have power behind a lot of our choices, and it doesn't feel out of place. It doesn't feel like we're playing a character. It feels real because of how they're presenting a lot of this uppercut influence, a lot of these syncopations in their ISOs. It's really nice and very thorough, very thought out, and it makes me enjoy it. I like that choice. Dash, do, and I like how they're building up the energy in the upper body. Have a fun little wicka wicka choice in the lower body. Love that, and they take it. Bringing it through, really nice little crab step variant, pulling it through, and then we're chugging it around the back, which is nice. Great transition choice. Boom, boom. Very simple window choice. I like it. Digging it through, little butterfly variation on that. Do it twice. Bringing it up. Matches how she da-da-da. Fun. They're bringing it through, boom, boom. I love that choice with bringing the hand, throwing it through. So if they're making choices that normally when you're here, part of me wants to go into a nene, but here they actually throw it across to send the energy to a different part of the body in a different way for us to look at it focally. So it leaves room for wonder and captivation and surprise. And so I really like that choice. Bring it through, run away, boom, yes. Hit it through. I like that part. Notice that everybody's allowing their head to have like a come at me, but in a different way. It accents and complements with what's going on with the hips and the foot. I want to run it. She dips down. I like that part. Wow. NMIXX. I think it's NMIXX. Is that their logo? I like that because they also go change it up. It's fun. Yeah. So they're framing. This is a really fun reveal. Super, super dope. The spacing and the staging for this was really well done because just having somebody who's bent over have the feature moment is fun. Normally you see whoever's here or just somebody who's more like in a neutral position, you see them vocally say something, but I love the fact that she's a fun little surprise over there and it's symmetrical. Wah! Love it. No! And then they come up, really fun from the column, branch it around. Now this part here, I thought she just missed what was going on in this lift. Yeah. Oh, now, do I think that was the best lift we could have done, or that little accent? I mean, I feel like that would have been an interesting thing to workshop. And what I mean by workshop is we are like, okay, we have this kind of formation. I want to hit this part of the music. What do you feel comfortable doing that can maintain your singability? And I wonder if that is something that they in fact did, because it's just intriguing, you know. Because however she picked up, it didn't feel like she relied upon her as much for that lift. It actually felt like she relied more upon her because she's lifting and anchoring to make sure she's able to get up higher than if she just did it by herself. But she didn't do anything so drastically different that she couldn't have honestly have done herself, with the exception, of course, of just slowing down and doing a speed change with her legs. So that, for me, it did feel a bit underwhelming for that one little bit, but I could hear what they were going for and I could see the visual of it. So that's just mostly, we'll chalk it up to my personal preference of how those types of lifts could be utilized on a track like this, but I digress. That's one minor observation in comparison to the grand scheme of the whole routine. I really like it. I like the vibe of it. It feels really nice. Definitely is a great intro for me taking a look at NMIXX. It makes me intrigued on some of their other work. Is this something that's an outlier of theirs, or is this their niche of concept? That I don't know, but it was recommended a lot by y'all. So I'm assuming this is definitely a powerhouse routine from their discography, which is cool. So I like that, how everybody was subtly influenced based off of her walking across. There's a nice subtlety as they touch the torso. She takes it, boom. You know, I like that. I like that choice from her as well, as they take those hands and branch them away. Then this beautiful moment right here, they take it, they dip through, snake it just subtly there. And I love the connection, and it's very even and balanced on the range of the shoulders as they're doing that. Because sometimes when you see people do this type of formation, notice that with the shoulders, some people overturn their torso or their chest for the sake of trying to get the line right. But in this case, it does feel like their torsos and their chests are pretty equal in terms of flexibility and strength, which is great. You want to have that, especially if you want to maintain symmetry on a thread interwoven choice like that. So I love that. Very fun to have your captivation, and I love this little propping that's taking place out of my trio there. The branching it through, I like that. Everybody expands their hands out. The walk forward is really nice. Very, very well done in terms of just how we're presenting and maintaining our feature. Swing, swing, bump, bump, petty, petty, let's go, you know, pop off is really what it feels like. Yep, dun, 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 dun. Fun. Yep, switching it through, and then we have our hands and our hips complement each other like we're rocking a baby. I love that choice. We have our guns, so like, excuse me, love that energy as well. Yep, they're here, and so because they already have their hands, it just feels like a little interruption, that dash part. And we're not interrupting, well, no, we are, because we've already kind of established how we're setting up the movement, but we weren't expecting them to switch up on this, the force and the accent that we just saw there. It's cool. And that right there, the speed change, God, I love it. I want to run it, boom, and then we go right back into full speed, dash, boom, boom, and notice the formation. I really like this choice. This is cool. I really like it because of the 3, and then you have your 2, and then you have your 1. Like, this is a very interesting, probably one of the most interesting formation choices they have had in the entire routine is this right here. I love it. I want to see more of this. This is cool. And I like this choice too, where they're all looking down. I like the intention of looking where their hands are. Yeah, twinkling in, dash, and then we go run it, run it, run it, run it, boom, and then the pull right there looks super sick as well. Dash, I want to dash, yes, dash away, ladies. Then we take a little jump rope, but it feels like a little chug that's also happening. I wouldn't give that a camel walk at all, but it does have a similar kind of bevel shift that you could see in symptom to a camel walk. Yeah, run it, and notice for this part, run it. So they hit this 3 times, and then it creates a nice syncopated moment that breaks away on the left hand. So that's really cool. And they take it here, and because of that third, it immediately helps us seamlessly get into the next groove. So that's what I'm actually really noticing about the choreo, is that there's some setups that they're doing that once there's an interruption or a syncopated polyrhythm or something along those lines that takes place, whether it's a shift of the groove, shift of the formation, transition, something along those lines, they already have one facet of that particular movement that is going to be happening already set up. And so I like that because it allows us to digest the switches easier, and it honestly makes it easier on them when they do texture shifts of posture. So I really like this. I mean, I'm such a fan. I love being able to look at choreo and genuinely like it because it just makes it fun to talk about, you know, and it makes my job easier, because for me, I'm like, there's nothing really super constructive. I mean, there's more personal preference things than anything, but there's really nothing here that I'm like, wow, that really sucks. Most things I watch, it's not really the case, because you guys recommend some incredible work anyway, but that's not really my role, is to sit there and just look at it with a microscope and that kind of stuff. I just look at it from an in general, why is this cool? Or what about this may have come across awkward? You know, like, just more so my personal perspective of my own training and my own scope, and it's a little different than a lot of people's, and I think that's fun. But all that to say, I really do like the setup of this choreo because there's a lot of overlap in the grooves that we're seeing and the switches of the grooves, but the difference is they're placing them and restructuring them in ways that makes it very interesting. And it keeps me looking at the move and go, oh, I love how they varied it. So I see the familiarity, but it doesn't feel redundant. And I love that. Another thing I'm noticing is we do not have a lot of levels represented, which could contribute as to why the formation stuck out to me more, because there wasn't a lot of levels to help reallocate the symmetry or the balance in any way. So that would be my another, you know, opportunity if we wanted to explore a different way to go about this, would be think about the levels and what we could do with them. I'd be very intrigued on what that would look like. I like that little dash. I like the, it's just dash. I want to dash. Okay, dash away. You know, it feels like I want to be on their team. This was fun. I like the deviation of a subtle level change. I literally just said it, and it's really fun to see that here. Really enjoyable. They take it in the commitment of actually how they peekabooed underneath the arm. I liked that choice. It's cool. And then they bring it, they change it through, and then we go right here into a pretty basic windowed formation. If you don't know what a window formation is you have your front line, and then you have a secondary line. They're in the holes that the front line has, you know, so they fill in the space between what's happening in the front line. It would feel very empty if you didn't have windows. And also you can very clearly see everybody who is there. It does feel, honestly, it kind of felt like we were trying to go windows, but then my dancer here and then my dancer here. She's established in row 2. We have a dancer right here in row 3. So it feels like we have 3 lines, but I'm curious as to why we have somebody in the center here. If we are establishing 3 lines, then I would have had her move up here and then before 4, and then I would have had her stay, and then I would have had her move over into this window. But that's, once again, that's a formation logistic. When you don't have a ton of levels, you're leaving more room for there to be workshopping opportunities or missed opportunities for formation choices. But it doesn't bother me at all. I do like the outlier of my feature. She's over on the side. Makes sense now. We have a group of 5, and then we have an outlier in the feature. That's fine. So you technically do have 2 lines and then you have a feature. Makes sense. You have your 2 and then your 3, but because of where the camera is, it is hard to see it. So for me, I always prefer fixed cams in that regard because I can truly see what does this look like if I was looking at it on stage, you know? But even then though, most of the time this choreography is going to have a camera that moves to complement what the choreography looks like. The choreography version looks like that. When you see it in the music video, it's like that. At concerts, the camera people are not going to be doing a fixed cam. It is going to be moved around. So I think in this context, it's not a competitive routine. So it's okay to not view it that way. But you can still hold it to the same degree of, is it clean? Does it have interesting choices in the choreo? Does it match the musicality, connection between music and movement? Those are very natural things that make you want to stand a group or enjoy looking at the group's future work because you can see them meet in the middle and meet to what's culturally captivating of the time within the dance industry, you know? So that's just a side note entirely, but I digress. All that to say, I like the sound of it too. And their fits remind me of a 2000s vibe. For sure, there's a particular female artist that their fits with like the all silk with the silk bandanas too. It just reminded me of, I don't quite know who, but it does give that 90s, 2000s, not R&B. Theirs is like a deceptive R&B, not quite like a petty R&B, I guess, if that makes sense. I can't quite place it. I'm going to do better at knowing subgenres and genres so I can pick up on what conceptually is happening in choreo so I can relate to it better. There's a couple classes I want to take for that. So fear not. Hopefully this time next year, I'll be better at knowing specifically what genre this particular type of track is. In the future, it'll help me be able to articulate what works because it does work. Looks great. I like that choice where they kick it, and then as they kick it to the cross, they do a nice little rib ISO over to the side. Looks great. Yummy, change it. I love that choice. That was cool. And I like the visual in the music video completely changed too. It was fun. So CGI heavy. It was cool. I like that new feature there. This was fun. I really love the cleanliness of everybody's hands. And I like that they look, and then we have a little peekaboo hop at the top. That was so fun. Very fun, gimmicky, playful, matched the visual that they brought in the music video. The dig through and the kick is nice. I like her pants too. Like the little heels, but notice that the heel, they don't have a jack present with it like they could have had earlier. This one felt more playful. It's because they arch in the back, similar to a different posture that is outside of the wheelhouse of the styles that they've been justifying at this point. So it feels cutesy because of how they're holding their postures a little bit more pressed up. Cool. There's a little tip-tap-toe, and then they swing. Lost my mouse. My bad. But I like the rotation of the arm as they swung that arm up. Looks really nice. Da-da-da. Cool. And then they dig it over to the side. Boom. And da-da-da-da-da. I like the twinkling happening. Looks great. Dee-dee-dee. I like the scuff on that. Da-da-da. Back to the column. And then they bleed it away. And then you have a little peekaboo feature in the back. And then they expand it back to the front. Boom. Dash. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And this part's really cute. My face. Woo, cute. That little bit was so cute. My face, boom. It's the facial change and how they change from having something really cute and up to something low. Still having those hips engaged, still using them, creating tension, but the tension and the texture of the groove is completely different. And that's what sells it. Not just their face, but their movement quality shift is really impressive there. So I love that choice. I like they take it up, really nice. Or I want to run it. And then they go to the other side. Of course, your feature's in the back with her hands up, so it looks like she's doing a subtle control of them there. I want to run it, really nice. And then right here, you still have the 2, so this would be just an in general note of having 2 over here and 3 over here to make it more balanced on a formation that obviously has 1 less person in it. I said that about Kiss of Life specifically too, because they have this little Nike check mark because they're a group of 4, and that's just something in groups you can pick up on when you see that's a common thing. It does feel like somebody is obviously missing here when you have a point like that. I don't mind the formation. Just having balance throughout the entirety of the choreography really helps alleviate some oversaturation of too much balance of not enough balance on one particular side. So that's just such a subtle thing. I like that boom, and I like how they trace it down with a lot of tension. And then they go right here, nice little Dougie, but it's more like a petty Dougie. Then they go pose and pose, similar to what they did before. Every other lifted the arms up, so it created some nice levels in the upper body. And then you have one of your dancers who, or performers that was in the very beginning. She's now rounding it out, Oreo cookie in tone. Love that. Dash, want to dash, and then they do the chest, run it. And then they finish, and I like the bleed over, and then it doesn't keep going, but they hit it, and then they reset it, and they all stop right in the middle. That's actually really fun, and I like the thoroughness of the commitment to that. So in general, I had a freaking blast looking at this. This was really fun. The music video was super dope. I love the declaration of I'm still here, and I said, okay, I see that you're still here, and I love that this was my first look because this is a recent take of NMIXX. It's not like I'm looking at them from their earlier days, even though it's only been a couple years. They're still at the tail end of the Gen 4 era, which I think is really cool, and I'm looking forward to more. If you guys want to see more of NMIXX, let me know. I will probably look at them in the future. I feel it, but also know too, this is in celebration of hitting 5,000 subscribers. So maybe in the future we'll do a whole marathon of them in a poll or something of the like. You can go to Patreon if you want to contribute to polls or see any content that comes out on a schedule on YouTube. It is always early release there on Patreon if that interests you. But I'm Jess. I had fun. I'll catch you later. Bye guys.